Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Welcome to the daily quiz discussion for the 3rd of August 2022. Beginning with the first question of the day. It reads, consider the following statements with respect to Enforcement Directorate or ED Director. There are three question statements given here. The first one reads, the ED Director is appointed as per provisions of the Prevention of Money Laundering Act of 2002. The second statement reads, the ED Director is appointed by the Union Government based on the recommendations of a committee chaired by the Union Home Minister and members comprising the Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha as well as the Chief Justice of India. The third statement reads, the ED Director has a fixed 2-year tenure which can be extended by 1 year each time provided the total term does not exceed 5 years. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Please have a look at the options given. What is the context? This article from today's The Indian Express takes note of the multiple pleas filed in the Supreme Court of India against the extension being given to the current ED Director. In this context, the Supreme Court has served a notice to the Union Government as well as the Central Vigilance Commission based on these petitions. One of the major concerns expressed by these pleas or challenges is that such piecemeal extensions can impact the independence of the Office of ED Director. Also notably, the committee for selection of the Director of the ED is entirely executive. This too can have an adverse impact on the independence of the Office of the ED Director. Coming back to the question, consider the first statement. This statement is wrong. Note, the ED Director is appointed as per the provisions of the Central Vigilance Commission Act of 2003 and it is not Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Consider the second statement. This is also wrong. Note, the committee which recommends the name of the ED Director to the Union Government consists of the following members. Who are they? They are the Central Vigilance Commissioner, other Vigilance Commissioners, Home Secretary, Secretary of the DOPT as well as the Revenue Secretary. Consider the third statement. This statement is correct. Note, the ED Director has a minimum of 2-year tenure. However, this can be extended up to 5 years, 1 year at a time. This provision was not part of the original CVC Act of 2003. This was done consequent to a recent ordinance which was promulgated by the Union Government, which was later ratified by the Parliament. So this provision for extension up to 5 years is a new addition to the CVC Act of 2003. Since the question asks for the correct statements, the answer to this question would be option B, 3 only. Moving on to the second question. It reads, which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to forest cover in northeastern states of India? There are two question statements given here. The first one reads, all the northeastern states of India have more than 70% of the geographical area under forest cover. The second statement reads, all the northeastern states of India have witnessed decline in forest area over the past decade. Please have a look at the options given. What is the context? This article from the data point series of the Hindu takes note of the falling forest cover in the northeastern states of India. When I mean northeastern states, this includes the state of Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Tripura, Sikkim and Assam. Observe, except Assam, whose forest cover stands at around 35 to 40%, all other northeastern states of India have forest cover greater than 70%. Also note, except the state of Assam, which has witnessed an increase in forest cover in the last decade, all other states of the northeast region have witnessed declining forest cover. Two of the major reasons for this declining forest cover are the diversion of forest land towards non-forest use as well as the encroachment of forest land. Notably, Arunachal Pradesh has witnessed the largest diversion of forest land towards non-forest use, while the state of Assam has witnessed the largest encroachment of forest land in the northeastern part of India. Coming back to the question, From our discussion, it becomes clear that both the statements are wrong. Why? Because to both these statements, Assam stands as an exception. Since the question asks for the correct statements, the answer to this question would be option D, neither 1 nor 2. Next, moving on to the third question. It reads, consider the following statements with respect to Supreme Court Collegium. There are two question statements given here. The first one reads, this system evolved through judgments of the Supreme Court and has no backing law or provision of the Constitution. The second statement reads, it consists of the Chief Justice of India and 5 other senior most judges. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Please have a look at the options given. What is the context? This article from today's The Indian Express takes note of the meeting of the Supreme Court Collegium to decide on the next Chief Justice of India. Notably, the current Chief Justice of India, N.V. Ramana, is set to retire on August 26th. As per convention, the senior most judge of the Supreme Court is appointed as the CGI. Coming back to the question, note the Supreme Court Collegium is a system used for the appointment and transfer of judges. Notably, this collegium system has evolved through judgments of the Supreme Court, namely the first judge's case, the second judge's case, and the third judge's case. Hence, the collegium system of appointing judges is just a judicial innovation that is not mandated through legislation or text of the Constitution. In this respect, the first statement is correct. Consider the second statement. This statement is wrong. Why? Because the Supreme Court Collegium is headed by the Chief Justice of India and it comprises 4 other senior most judges of the court. It is not 5. So all in all, there are 5 judges in the Supreme Court Collegium. Since the question asks for the correct statements, the answer to this question would be option A, 1 only. Moving on to the fourth question. It reads, consider the following statements with respect to tobacco farming in India. There are 3 question statements given here. The first one reads, tobacco is a drought-tolerant, hardy and short-duration crop. The second statement reads, India is the world's largest producer and exporter of tobacco. The third statement reads, Crop Diversification Program, a sub-scheme of Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana aimed at shifting farmers away from tobacco cultivation, is being implemented in all Indian states. Which of the above statements is or are correct? Please have a look at the options given below. What is the context? This article from the PIB takes note of the government efforts to shift farmers from tobacco farming towards other alternative crops. In this respect, the article notes that around 1.12 lakh acres of land cultivation has shifted from tobacco farming into other alternative crops. Coming back to the question, the first statement is correct. Tobacco is a drought-tolerant species. It is hardy and hence it can be grown on soils where other crops cannot be cultivated profitably. Also, notably, it is a short duration crop. Note, tobacco is susceptible to damage in areas which receive high amounts of rainfall. Consider the second statement. This statement is wrong. Why? Because India is neither the world's largest producer nor the largest exporter of tobacco. In terms of production, India stands second. Also, in terms of export also, India stands second. Try to find out which country is the largest producer and which country is the largest exporter of tobacco in the world. And if you know the answer, please type it in the comment section below. Consider the third statement. The third statement is partly correct. That is, the crop diversification program is a sub-scheme of the Rashtriya Krishi Vikas Yojana. This scheme is aimed at shifting farmers away from tobacco cultivation. This is correct. But this program is not being implemented in all Indian states. They are being implemented in 10 select Indian states. Note, tobacco cultivation in India majorly happens in about 15 states. And among these 15 states, the states with the highest tobacco production are being targeted under the crop diversification program. Now let us understand which these states are. This includes large tobacco producers like Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Gujarat, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. Hence, the third statement is also wrong. Since the question asks for the correct statements, the answer to this question is option B, one only. Moving on to the last question of the day. This is a question from the UPSC 2019 Prelims paper. The question reads, Atal Innovation Mission is set up under the, there are four options given. Option A, Department of Science and Technology. Option B, Ministry of Labour and Employment. Option C, Niti Aayog. And option D, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. The correct answer to this question is option C, Niti Aayog. Atal Innovation Mission is the Government of India's flagship initiative to create and promote a culture of innovation and entrepreneurship across the country. This initiative was set up by the Niti Aayog in the year 2016. Atal Innovation Mission aims to create and promote innovation and entrepreneurship at schools, university, research institutes, MSMEs, as well as the industry levels. In this direction, Atal Innovation Mission has multiple programs. Some of the major ones include the following: Atal Tinkering Labs, which are active in schools; Atal Incubators, which promote entrepreneurship in universities and industries; Atal Community Innovation Centers, which seeks to promote the benefits of technology-led innovation to the unserved or underserved regions of India, including Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, aspirational districts, tribal, hilly and coastal areas. Next, moving on to the fact of the day, Udyam portal. What is the context? This article from the PIB takes note of the Udyam portal achieving landmark 1 crore registrations. In this context, let us understand a few basic aspects related to the Udyam portal. Now, what is this Udyam portal? Any person willing to establish a micro, medium or small enterprise shall file registration at the Udyam registration portal. Notably, this registration process would be fully online, paperless and based on self-declaration. No documents or proof are required to be uploaded for registering an MSME. Upon registration, the enterprise would be provided with a unique number. This number would be called the Udyam registration number. Also, after the completion of the process of registration, an Udyam registration certificate will be issued. This certificate will have a dynamic QR code from which the web page on the portal and details about the enterprise can be accessed easily. Notably, upon registration, PAN and GST linked details on investment and turnover of these enterprises will be taken automatically from the respective government databases. So, this will provide for a comprehensive database with regard to MSMEs. Now, what is the significance or what are the benefits for those people who register on the Udyam portal? The Udyam portal registration will provide the MSMEs with a registration number. This will provide an identity for MSMEs, which can be used to avail benefits of scheme for Ministry of MSME. Also, this registration will help in the MSMEs accessing priority sector lending of banks. As per a August 2020 notification of the RBI, financial lenders may demand Udyam registration for credit purposes. Also note, the Udyam portal would be integrated with the government e-marketplace and the trade receivables and discounting system. So, this will allow the enterprises to participate in government procurement and have a mechanism for discounting their bills. Apart from this, enterprises who self-certify and attain registration are also eligible for certain benefits. They would be eligible for subsidy schemes like the Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme, and also they'll be able to register complaints about delayed payments on the MSME Samadhan portal. That is all we have for today's discussion. Thank you for being with us.